Hello fellow computer enthusiasts, my name is Christian, hope you're doing well today. In today's episode of ILTPWC we will talk about my Unraid server and I show you every service and every virtual machine that is running there. So just follow me into the Threadripper based Unraid system and I show you some lovely services.
Okay, welcome to my Unraid server. This is one of two Unraid servers that I have in my home. Both are Threadripper based, and this one has 12-core CPU. It's a Threadripper 2920X, and the reason why I have chosen this processor is because of the PCIe lanes, because a lot of M2 SSDs are connected to the motherboard. So what we have here is a motherboard from MSI. It's the MSI Mac X399 Creation, and we have 128 GB of DDR4 RAM. Okay, currently we have 114 TB of storage, and I utilize 89 TB, so 15 TB is spare space. And the way this system works is that I replace smaller hard disks from time to time with bigger ones. So in this here I will upgrade this 8 TB and the other 8 TB to at least 18 TB hard disks. Okay. And what you also see here is a small cache pool. It's 4 TB in total with Btrfs. And this cache pool is used in order to have a write cache for the hard disks and the NAS functionality of Unraid, as well as for the different virtual machines running on the system. Okay, and now let's jump directly into all the services that are running as Docker containers on my Unraid server. TubeSync is a personal video recorder for YouTube. It is like Sonar but for YouTube, with a built-in download client. The main use case in my home network is to archive videos from my favorite channels, to have them available in case the internet goes down, for days, or to make them offline available. For the time being on vacation, which saves a lot of bandwidth while traveling and helps if you travel regions where internet connectivity is not as good as home. Second use case is to download videos that we use to create our own TV channels in Plex. I'm a child of the 80s and my wife and I created some TV channel that run 24/7 without advertisement that are quite similar to our childhood memories, like our own version of MTV. Komga is a free and open source comics and manga server that also supports a variety of ebook format like EPUB and PDF. It helps organizing our growing digital comic library with collections and reading lists, and the built-in web reader works like a charm on our Android tablets. The tool is capable of finding duplicate files and also duplicate pages in case you made an error scanning a document. For those viewers with children at home, there is an age restriction feature in case you need that. If you want to start your own comic collection, there are humble bundles at a regular basis where you can get a lot of comics for cheap. The almighty Plex server is the heart of our home entertainment system. Every tablet, mobile device, game console and TV utilize our Plex server to stream movies and series in our home network and via VPN when we are not at home. The only disadvantage of Plex is that it's not free, but we bought a lifetime license after having a monthly subscription for a year or so. So if you like what they are doing, do yourself a favor and invest early in the lifetime license, otherwise you will pay a lot of money over the years. But there are many benefits that the Plex server offers. It automatically scans the library and matches movies to metadata, which also works for TV series and exotic content like music Blu-rays. We also use it as our main source to view our family pictures, because we can see them on every TV in our home and have evenings with friends watching old vacation images and become a little bit nostalgic. If you are, or if you want to become a cord cutter, Plex also got you covered, because it also works well as a DVR and allows you to watch live TV via cable, satellite or internet. It is also possible with additional software to create your own TV channels that only shows content that you like your favorite movies or TV series. Oh, and the best thing, there is no advertisement at all, or only the advertisement that you like. Maybe from the 80s or 90s or trailer for the new movies, stuff like that. I believe that you can also watch a bunch of movies that Plex offers for free. I mean, included in your subscription with advertisement. We actually don't use that feature, but it's nice to know that we could if we wanted to. As you all know, I'm a developer by heart, and therefore I need Visual Studio Code on every device at hand. And the whole concept of our home network is to offer as much services such as gaming, consuming media, developing stuff and all the other little things we do with computers in a fashion that we can use it on every device in our household. May it be a tablet, a smartphone, a notebook or a desktop computer, or even my Steam Deck. To achieve this for development, we are hosting 2 instances of Code Server. One of this Threadripper based Unraid server that you can see here, and another one on one of our Raspberry Pis as shown in the other video. But let's talk a little bit about Code Server itself. It is a Visual Studio Code instance that you can use in your browser. I would recommend the Linux Server IO container because it comes with a lot of Docker extensions so that you get the perfect environment for most of the programming languages out there. And if something is not available, you can just create your own extension or modify the container to your needs. It's based on Ubuntu, so just use apt to install new packages. As you all know, working directly on a local or remote machine isn't as handy and secure when it comes to maintaining source code. That's where our 2 source code management systems come into play in our home network. What you see here is our Gitlab instance running on our Unraid server, and which does all the heavy lifting when it comes to the different build agents that we have. We also run other repositories on a Raspberry Pi, so a repository that is available 24/7 and where we have lightweight pipelines like the Docs code library for my family that I explained in the Raspberry Pi video. Let's talk about Gitlab, what it is and what I'm using it for. Gitlab supports the whole SEC DevOps lifecycle from plan to release and operation. There are a lot of features that are important for professional developers that also have benefits in your home lab environment, like the Web IDE, which makes working on files in browser really easy. Very handy if you want to fix something fast or if you have to add something to your Docs code-based library, like our family library. The continuous integration and continuous delivery ability of Gitlab is where the software really shines in my opinion. Installing and configuring new runners for different target environments is very easy and straightforward. Regardless of the target platform, whether it may be an ARM-based embedded project, maybe some robots, stuff for your server, like a web application, or the latest Unity project with a game that you develop for the Xbox or the PlayStation. Later this year, I will do a deep dive on Gitlab where I explain every feature in detail, so make sure to like and subscribe if you are interested in those developer topics. When you are starting a home lab and you see your data growing, you will eventually reach the point where you ask yourself how to protect your data from data loss. Because in our own network, no one takes care for you, therefore you have to come up with a backup strategy, whether it be a local one or a remote one in the cloud. My answer to the question is Duplicati, a great free and open source tool that is able to back up a lot of data and store them encrypted on different target locations, like my other local NAS, my Google Drive, and a block storage hosted by DigitalOcean. Duplicati uses AES 256 encryption before uploading your data and is able to do incremental updates, which saves a lot of bandwidth. It's very easy to configure. Just select the files or folder you would like to backup, select your backup target location, which can be a local one or an external server via SSH or SFTP, or directly to the cloud if you are using Amazon S3 for example. It comes with a great web interface, but can also be used via a command line interface, which I haven't used yet, to be honest. I have also recovered my data multiple times, so you can be sure that the disaster recovery is really working. Back in 2016, my wife and I decided to become paperless, meaning that we wanted to receive as much documents and information as possible in a digital manner, by email for example. And we started scanning and archiving all existing paper-based documents to have them available at any time on every device and to reduce the amount of paper wasted and stored in our home. Since then, our documents have passed from many document management systems to others until we found Papermerge, a free and open source software that is written for exactly the use case that we are using it for. It stores your PDF documents and scanned images and makes them available and accessible via OCR, meaning that your documents become machine readable and you can search for every word included in your scanned documents. Most of these documents are related to our bills, of course, and contracts and other legal stuff. Therefore, please understand that most of the folder names and documents are blurred in this video. If you are looking to become paperless this year, just spin up the Papermerge Docker container, select your OCR language, and you're good to go. Currently, my Discord bot Abaddon, which is based on Wether, a fully modular Discord bot, is also hosted on my Unraid server. In future, the bot will move into my Raspberry Pi Kubernetes cluster, but for the sake of this video, it stays where it is. In a few months from now, I will also make a Discord server for ILTPWC, because I want to connect with you guys and talk to you about your home lab setup and cool stuff that we all do with computers. But let's talk about the Red bot itself. It is easy to configure because of its modular design, meaning all features and commands can be enabled to your liking. Just follow the instruction to connect your self-hosted bot to the Discord server and you can do a lot of cool stuff with this awesome piece of software. It supports you with moderation features such as kick, ban, filter and chat cleanups, support a lot of music features like YouTube, SoundCloud and playing local playlists, can be used for streaming alerts and automates a lot of admin tasks like cross-server announcement, mod mail reports and so on. There's also a huge community of people writing plugins for the bots that you can just include into your bot, or you follow the detailed documentation and write your own extension in Python for example. Something that we will do together in future, so make sure to like and subscribe to this video. As mentioned in my Raspberry Pi video, I use infrastructure as code wherever possible and handy, which means that the configuration is stored in a source code file and I use a terminal to interact with the system. But sometimes I just want to see the whole environment and all the containers and the status of every container that is running. My services are distributed across different machines, therefore it is very handy to have a running instance of Portainer and Portainer agents on every host that runs Docker containers. I use Portainer mainly to check whether I have unused images, volumes or networks from previous experiments and to clean up the Docker host from time to time. But it's also great to have a what you see is what you get editor to spin up new containers and services in case you need. Usually, when I install a new service, it comes with a container-based configuration and most of the time brings its own database application in a different container, such as MySQL, Postgres, MongoDB, or whatever is needed. But sometimes you have to provide the environment that is needed in order to run the service, and in other cases you want to have the data of the new service included in your already working backup strategy. That's where all the self-hosted databases on my Unraid server come into play, like Postgres and MariaDB. Besides the databases, I also maintain a NUT server, which is an open source messaging system that I use in some robot projects where the logic is distributed between the robot and a controller on another computer or in the cloud. But I will do a further video about the robot topic, so let's continue with the Unraid server and talk about the last Docker container running there. The last service I would like to mention is called WikiJS, and as the name suggested, it is a wiki system that is easy to use, open source and comes with a lot of cool features. It comes with a visual builder for non-tech people, but also supports Markdown and plain HTML. The search engine and the version tracking are also on enterprise level, in my opinion, and I use WikiJS to document my robot and game projects. WikiJS supports diagrams such as UML, flowcharts and more, and comes with a full color syntax highlighting and line numbering for source code snippets. To be honest, while writing this script for the video, I think about the next cool project where I could need a wiki because it is so easy and makes so much fun to work with WikiJS. All my videos are created on the same workstation that is also acting as one of my NAS and is running all the services mentioned before. Yes, I mean this Unraid server. Unraid makes hardware pass-through to virtual machines like one of the system's GPUs very easy, especially if your motherboard has a strong support for IO-MMU so that you can pass through different devices. Besides that Windows 11 machine, I host a bunch of Linux machines, one that also provides Docker containers with services that are not mentioned so far, like the different Gitlab runners that I have. A Linux machine that runs my Rancher server, that I use to manage my Kubernetes cluster, and a dedicated Ubuntu machine for web development. Last but not least, I have a Linux machine to do all the community work for ILTPWC. That's also the machine that I use to upload all my videos to YouTube. Thanks for watching this episode of ILTPWC. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because it makes a huge difference. The next video that are in the pipeline is a continuation of the game development series where I build a game from scratch to Steam. The first robot video where I teach you how to build robots with Lego Mindstorm and Spark. And the first server build video for my new NAS, replacing this Threadripper based Unraid server with something that is more power efficient. So stay tuned and don't forget to do awesome projects and play with computers. See you in the next video.